Hi, my name is TJ. My dad died of overdose on January 1st, 2011, and my mom is a recovering addict. God helped my mom, and now together we are here to help you. Now let's talk recovery. Here's your host, my mom, Susan Sexton Wood.
Hi, and welcome to Let's Talk Recovery. I'm your host, Susan Sexton Wood. Today we have two guests with us that are going to share their testimony, their life in addiction and their life in recovery. Welcome, Shawn and Olivia. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Shawn is a recovering addict, and Olivia can speak from the family point of view and just how their life was really kind of tormented and things were just really ripped apart in your life for a while. I'm going to have Shawn go ahead and just share his testimony, share what life was in addiction and kind of what his life is now.
Well, I grew up in a decent home, really. We done the church thing, ate dinner at the table. I had good role models in life and got into high school and got into trying to impress people. So I started drinking and then smoking pot, and then eventually it led into popping pills, and I liked the feeling that it had given me, not knowing the consequences, and before I know it, I was hooked and physically needed them. I went through a whole different process, and taking pills to taking the harder pills, and then eventually heroin. I battled an opiate addiction for a good 12 years. I've been in and out of inpatient treatments, outpatient treatments. My family's locked me in the house, tried everything. I moved away out of state for a few years. I actually ended up going to prison, doing 2 years there. Shortly after that, I moved back home. I done good for a while. I started hanging out with my friends that I used to hang out with. That worked out for a while, and then I eventually got back into the same stuff. But today I can say that I've been in recovery for close to 2 years, probably. And life's great. Getting married Saturday. I had a child. He's a year and a half. After having my kid, that's when everything really changed in my head. I wanted a better life for myself, but especially for him and for her. It just gave me a motivation. Like, I wanted it for myself. You got to have it for yourself, but I thought about him a lot in the time of, whenever I was weak, I was feeling bad. But today, I'm a supervisor at my job that I work. I have a lot of responsibilities. I have a key to $1 million industry they're trusting me with, and we're doing good. So.
Life definitely changes in recovery, huh?
Yes.
Which we find out that recovery and sobriety are two different things, and recovery is a lifestyle change. So your life changing and the job and you're getting married and just everything continues to change in your life, which shows recovery. Olivia, with you, can you share with us what kind of things you went through just with him going through his addiction? Because I know that you have stuck by him. You've stuck by him, and you've even started working on yourself to work on your own recovery. And that's one thing that we at Unchained Praises try to do, is to help the families, because everyone has a recovery. And so Olivia actually started working on her own recovery plan also.
Yeah, I always thought I would never be an enabler type, but then it's funny how quickly you turn into one and you don't know it. And after he got arrested last January and we had our son, he was 2 weeks old, it opened my eyes. It was a different type of anger, because it wasn't just me anymore, and that's when I realized I was helping him without realizing I was helping him do the drugs. I was providing a roof, providing food, providing a happy lifestyle for him to use, and even though I didn't know he was using. And that's when I decided I couldn't do it, and I did tough love, and it was really hard. I told him it was make a decision or leave, and it wasn't easy to stick by him through a lot of it. I had my emotional problems through it all, but by talking to you and him changing and him showing me himself in recovery and like earning that trust back slowly, that helped me. But it took a toll on us. We were down to like 5 cents some weeks, $2 to get through till Friday or Monday, and we were lucky enough that we had a good family to help us stay in our house and all that, because we didn't have that. But it was hard, but it was worth it. That's the one thing. And I know not everybody is going to possibly be able to handle it because it's hard, but in the end, if they're willing to change, it's definitely worth it, because you get that old person back. I got the person Shawn was before the addiction came back. So.
Right. Shawn, how did you feel when your family started giving that tough love, and how did you feel when they first started doing it, when you were still in addiction, and then how do you feel about it today?
I mean, there's definitely like an anger, but I think it's more like in yourself, like mad at your own self. And then in the beginning of recovery, for some reason, everything that you have done in the past comes back into your thought process, and then you play that over again, and then you're like, man, I was really that type of person. And I've always in my mind knew like they loved me and they were doing what's best for me, and going through the counseling and getting talked through like the whole process of everything kind of helped me relate to what they were going through. And definitely my mother, she even does counseling herself, and that helps a lot, like your family knowing, like, even though they weren't don't really understand the struggle, but to help understand the struggle really helped me out too. So.
And it helps with the family going to talk to other people about it, because there's also a pressure that sometimes when we're in recovery and our family, they're worried about us using and they want to almost smother our recovery. It actually hurts us instead of helps us. And so would you say by your loved ones getting help and talking to other people that they've learned how to deal with that a little better, and it's not so smothery anymore, but they know that if you decided to use, you're gonna use. And so to just let you work your recovery, to be there for you, and to work on themselves is really all that someone can do.
Right, yeah, they definitely felt the suffering or the smothering. And like for me, to do it on your own it's an accomplishment feeling. They can want it all they want. They can want it more than I do, but until I want it more than they do, nothing's going to change. And it's good to have the people down your back the whole time, especially in the beginning, because it don't matter what you say. you could want to be clean and have it all in your mind. Well, the 1 second later, it all can switch. So if you have them people around you to keep encouraging you, it's definitely a big help. And they learned how to do that without smothering me. So it definitely helped. This last time, I felt like I put in the work myself, and it is work. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it in the end. So.
Right. I know one thing that I've said in my own recovery is that it was so hard to work on my recovery that I own it. I own my recovery, and that helps with the confidence, and that helps with just we can be fulfilled in our recovery. And sometimes, I know in my active addiction, I couldn't find fulfillment. There was no fulfillment in active addiction. And so I've been able to find that in recovery. So in a few days, you guys are going to be getting married.
Yes.
How are you feeling about that?
Good. I'm not nervous at all.
No.
I expected to be, but because that's a big deal. But I think it's just something we've been waiting on, so it's happening finally.
Is it exciting to go through the planning stage? Because you guys have kind of, he's been in recovery, and so he's been a part of the
Yeah.
planning stage, which is a little bit different for you too.
Yeah, and it took a little while once he got out of active addiction. I still struggle with it sometimes, as I was used to making decisions on my own, doing things, and now he has a voice and stuff, and I forget that sometimes. And so, but yeah, he's been very helpful. He helped pick out one of the collars and the peacock feathers, and
It's good to be able to afford.
yeah. We've been
afford
able
it.
to buy gifts for our parents and all the bridesmaids and groomsmen, and before we wouldn't have been able to do that.
And we leave Sunday to go to Puerto Rico
Yeah.
Wow.
for vacation, so we couldn't say that a year ago.
No.
For a honeymoon.
For honey,
You call it a
Honeymoon.
vacation.
Yeah, a vacation.
same thing.
It's a little bit different because it's just going to be you two, right?
Yep.
Yes.
And a vacation, you'd probably have your son with you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I know just in your own recovery, your growth, I've got to experience just watching you from the very beginning until you own 2 vehicles now.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
together
well,
you own 3.
Well, 3.
We have
Yeah.
3.
You have
Yeah.
3 vehicles. You got a job in early in your recovery, and you did that, but that led to your job now and being a supervisor. And you're not one of them hardcore supervisors that screams at the people, do you?
Not too
You
much.
don't let it go to your head.
No. No. I think they like me there, but yeah, definitely. And within 7 months, I was just the employer, and now I'm the supervisor of the company. So it's a good feeling.
I can see that you get a little emotional talking about recovery, and just it's an accomplished feeling, but we still remember the person that we were. And one thing that I encouraged you to do when you used to come in and see me was to just reflect on your past, but not dwell on it. And I can tell that you're doing a really good job that you do reflect on it, because you're helping other people by talking about it, but you don't dwell on it. And it's really tears of joy and not of
Right,
sadness
yeah.
that your life has changed. Even to talk about, we didn't have any money, and now we can do things because you're not taking the money and just, throwing it away.
Yeah, definitely different tears. To look back on it, you can't believe it, and then to where I am now, it's good. So.
At the beginning of your recovery, can you share with us just some of the steps that you took as we change in recovery? I know I used to go to meetings a lot when I was at the beginning of recovery, and then as life changes and we get the job and we are bonding with our family, and the way things change, we don't always go to meetings or counseling. And so what did you start doing at the beginning of your recovery for someone that may be in the same position as you were when you started reaching out for help?
I was a few hours out of jail. I went straight to a local meeting, and I met you there and a bunch of my other good friends that are really good help in the support groups. I seeked out the help. You gave me ideas that you had your office. The very next day I went up there. I was doing sometimes 2 meetings a day. Especially in the beginning, if you can find a meeting every day, I would consider to do that. And then to now, I don't do as much meetings. I feel comfortable. I don't feel like I'm not, I can't ever go back down that path again, but I feel like God had wiped it all away.
And that's how recovery, it just changes. You know, we all have a different recovery, and everybody doesn't need meetings. Some people have a full life, and that's what it sounds like you have. You just have a full life with work and with family, and you're not only an advocate, but your soon-to-be wife is an advocate, and your mom's an advocate. You guys come together in your community, and you're always a part of something. We're having an event for the Heroin Overdose Awareness Day, which is a national day now, August the 31st, or August the 31st or September.
It's August.
I'm confused.
Yep, August.
August the 31st is Heroin Overdose Awareness Day. And so that day is, because of the epidemic and so many people passing away, there's now a day for it. And Shawn's mom, she was on one of the shows last month, and she's heading that up. And just, you know, to remember the people that have passed away, and just to remember them, because you hear about somebody passing away, and that's what you just hear their name, and they passed away and they were just another addict. But the community in Winchester, Indiana, they're definitely coming together as a community. I see that probably more than any other area that we're in. And it's about coming together and really speaking up, and it kind of shows it with you two and with your mom, that this is a family issue, and that everyone can have their own healing, and you do it in different ways. You have your own recovery, but you can heal together by working on yourself individually.
Yes.
Right.
So with this event that's coming up, and Olivia, you're helping with that.
Yes.
It's called Somebody Someone, and we forget that the person that is addicted is someone's mom, someone's dad. It's someone's brother or sister. We forget that person has a voice, and that there's someone too. We forget that they at one time had goals. We can fall into the trap of addiction, and we just lose ourselves completely, I think. We lose our families. We lose almost everything. And just as you're talking about just how you've rebuilt your life, and you know, you went from not having any money to you spend your money wisely, it sounds like now, with having vehicles, and
Right.
I'm sure you guys are planning to maybe even you want to buy a house one day.
Yep.
And that's something we didn't really think about in addiction, did we?
No,
No.
not at all. She's got some good news about, because she wants to go to college and further her career in law school, and
they just told me today that I just have to apply. I haven't been officially accepted, but with my application. They're sending me an application for like the honors program. So possibly if I'm accepted along with that, I'll have a full ride tuition paid like for my 3 years of law school. So we found that out today, and that's something I've always wanted to do, but we would have never even, it wasn't a possibility for me to do that when he was in active addiction, because it will take me not working and going to law school full time, and so we would only have one paycheck. But now we're able to, well, two paychecks because he works two jobs kind of. So yeah, but so that's something we're able to do now.
So, and you wanted to be a lawyer before this? Does this kind of add to it?
Yeah, it does a lot.
Wanting to do it?
Yeah.
So you could be there to help other people that may be in the same situation that he's been in.
Yes, because I see sometimes they come through the court system and it's just, a shuffle because there's so many of them, it seems like now, and then there's different options to get them help, where I feel like sometimes people don't see those options. They just want them through the court system and out. So I feel like maybe with my background, I'll be able to help with that. So
if you could tell someone that has a family member that is struggling with addiction, if you can share with them, just give some kind of hope, what would you say to someone that may be watching and they may be an enabler and they don't even realize that they're doing it, or their family has been torn apart and they feel like they don't know what to do? What could you share with them?
I would say to realize things can change, because you get in that hole so deep that you feel like there's no way out and you're just drowning. But the biggest way for that change to happen is, because they can change all they want, but even if they get recovery, if you don't seek out help for yourself or study it and learn about the addiction and all that goes along with it, you're not going to get better. Because I know when he was getting better, I was still in the mindset of active addiction. I was still like, where's he at? Why is he not here? Or who's, talking to you over there? Like, we'd be at Walmart and I'd see him talking to somebody and I'd just flip out because I thought it was somebody he shouldn't be. So, and he wasn't. He was doing what he's supposed to be, but my mind hadn't changed. So I had to start my recovery. So my biggest advice would be study up on it, learn all you can, but seek out your own recovery, because you're not going to get better just because they're getting better. So.
Right, that's some good advice. With you, Shawn, there could be someone watching that may be the struggler, maybe the loved one. What could you say as a recovering addict that could help someone just want to get help? If we think about the lowest part of our addiction, where we really didn't care if we lived or died, and with the way that your life is now, what could you say to them? Because it is, you said it just a little bit ago, it's hard work. It's hard work to go through all of those emotions and feelings.
I would just say, just keep yourself around positive people. Don't ever feel like you have it in the bag. Like, there's obviously a better lifestyle. I know in my recovery, in the beginning, I felt like there was no coming back. Like, you feel like your mind's rewired to always feel that way, and eventually it comes back. And just seek the help. Don't let it come to you. It will come to you, but you put in your own work and it will all work out.
That's good. That's good. We want to thank Shawn and Olivia for being on the show today, and we want to congratulate them. Their wedding's coming up. I think I'd be a nervous wreck if I only had a couple days to go. But we want to thank them. And if you're someone that may be struggling, if you're the loved one of an addict, then I encourage you to listen to what Olivia said. She has her own recovery plan, and she works on herself daily just as well as Shawn does, so that they can rebuild their life together and they can come together as one. You have your own recovery, and it is separate, but we can heal together. And I think that they show that just with, you could see God's grace in them. And just sitting here with them today, and it's been a little while since I've been around them, you can just see the difference that recovery has made in their lives. And so I just encourage you today, if you are struggling, reach out for help. There's a number that is on the screen. If we can lead you to whether it's inpatient or outpatient, there's help out there. And just as Shawn said, you can't sit and wait for it to come to you. You have to go find the help. But there is help out there. There's so many people that are doing things in the different communities that we try to come together, and if Unchained Praises can't find the help that you need, or if we don't have it, we can lead you to someone else that does. One of the groups that Shawn is a part of is Brianna's Hope. And Brianna's Hope is their meetings, and they have fanned out so many different counties that you can find a meeting pretty much every day if you go to a Brianna's Hope meeting. So if you want more information on Unchained Praises or Brianna's Hope, or if you need inpatient or outpatient, we want to encourage you to just give us a call, and so we can help you. I'm going to share with you a poem that's called Salvation, and we want you to know that God is the foundation of any successful recovery. We can recover one day at a time with God. And so this is called Salvation. Bad things happen, even when there's good inside. God gave you a smackdown. All along, you wonder why. Salvation is through Jesus Christ, the one who gave his life for you. Eternity starts from within. Broken hearts can become new. You've been very sick. I've sat by your side. Always got your back. I would never tell you bye. God's doing his work in your heart and mine. I love you from the bottom of my heart. Now I think it's the right time. I now introduce you to our Savior, Jesus Christ, the one they call the Messiah, the one that gave his own life. Ask for forgiveness. His arms are open wide. He will also never leave you, never high and dry. He can wash your sins away. He can break that ball and chain. Jesus Christ died for your sins. Just pray, and he will guide your way. I want to encourage you today, if you don't know Jesus Christ, to know him today. All you have to do is just ask for Jesus to come into your heart, and that we have all sinned. Ask him for forgiveness, and he can change your life. I know today my foundation is God, and I didn't finish that time.